Hey guys, I'm really surprised you guys are watching this. I can just see on my video channels, there's a lot of people watching this. I'm surprised, hundreds of people. My God. I try to be more professional, okay? So here we go. On the right angle cross of the planning, we keep going on the 2-4 profile. The second line is where you left out that secret about the twos that they don't want everybody to know. And the secret is that they love company. They really do. But of course, it has to be very special for them. It has to be just the right company. But it's one of those things where you see that all twos are pissed off. I don't want to have anything to do with you. I've got this barrier and you can't get in. Remember, that's a genetic technology. It's genetics saying in order for you to take somebody in, you have to have barriers. You can't just let everybody in. But to really see the heart of the second line being is the misery loves company. They love company, but they love company for a purpose. Collaboration with others to temper frustration. By the way, this is not a blue lead in. If you're a 9-2, you're born with this, which is very important because it means deep within the genetics. It's not a matter of something that is drawn out over the lifetime by experience and conditioning. Here's something that is inherited in the very dynamic of the being. So that what they need is that they're looking to collaborate in order to end frustration. Now think about the generator. If a generator is alone in a cave and it's cut off from the program, it will die because it will not know what to do. Generators are born to respond. You got to have something to respond to. And one of the most important things in the generator's life is that they're going to respond to is other human beings. And it's built into this. And the only way to temper frustration is through collaboration. Do you want to do this? Okay, it's through that collaboration. So it's one of the underlying themes of how the natural can be brought into the detailed program. After all, the second line is a line of natural gift. The one will study, the one will investigate that it's gift, but the second is born with it. Just as you see this in the line, the archetype of the two, you don't even have to have the blue lead. You don't have to have this here or it's just there. It's just natural. It's a natural gift for working with others if it will temper frustration. And it tells you something about the second line beings when you go to their house. If you frustrate them, then you're going to get in, if you frustrate them, you're never getting in again. They'll change the locks on the doors and their phone number, no chance, never again, because it's one of the most important things. Another thing is logic doesn't like frustration. You can see that it's clearly in the 1858. Most people see only the negative of the 1858, that it's critical, and negative only in the sense that they're not necessarily against the criticism. It's the way it's delivered. But the fact of the matter is that only a logic can be satisfied. Nothing else can be satisfied. Logic can be satisfied. This is the whole goal of the 58. The 58 says we can get to satisfaction, get those corrections, work it out, practice, perfect it, let's get it out. And in the end, we're going to be satisfied with our logical product, whatever that may be. So, satisfaction is something that is possible. Frustration is terrible. There's nothing like being able to get the collaboration you need in order to investigate something and get beyond frustration to a point. When you have enough details and the energy for the detail to get to the damn solution and be satisfied. It's like examinations when you're in the school as a kid. Some examinations are very straightforward. You have a match test. If you get 100 in a math test, you're incredibly satisfied because it's an absolute, right? One of one and two equals two. You get a tick. Good. Yeah, good. I got it. I'm satisfied. It's wonderful. But the same thing for an English exam, like literature and this kind of thing, and you get to a high mark, you don't even know what that means, not unless you're counting spelling mistakes. You can actually see them taking things off and whatever. Logic is a wonderful that way, logic says that we can be satisfied. So, sacral logical gates are always trying to overcome frustration because that means on the right track and have the right details and going to get to satisfaction. Everybody who carries a ninth gate in their design is under risk of missing details. And as you progress through the lines, the consequences of missing the detail become more severe. The second line has a possibility in missing the details, in not having the energy for the details that collaboration will fill and frustration will be the result. And remember, this is the format energy and this is subject to repression. So the frustration in the ninth gate is much more intense than frustration in other of the other sacred gates. So what's that frustration? The 2-5. One of the advantages of the 2-5s and the 5-2 is in the new age that we live in, this technological age that we live in, it's much easier for a 2-5 to collaborate virtually. As an example, then it would be a 2-5 to be able to collaborate in the flesh. Any 5 for 5 dances is always a wonder because you're out on the projection field itself, so it provides you with the opportunity to not constantly have to deal with trying to balance your reaction to the projection field. When you're dealing with the 2-5, there's a deep suspicion The five is paranoid. It's suspicious. There's a deep suspicion of the approach of the other. And yet, because it's the second line, there's this underlying, I really need another. The natural is not good at details. It's looking for collaboration with something that makes detail work fun, that makes the frustration of doing detail work because you're doing the detail with somebody else. Out of that, then you get a very positive energy. The two forces in this process are the one that will bring somebody's into their hermit's environment. And they are like kids doing homework together who apart wouldn't enjoy the detail process at all. But together they're having fun, looking things up on the internet and checking things in research books or whatever. But the two fives have to motivate themselves. What they realize is that there's much more potential frustration in trying to collaborate than there's a suffering in the misery of having no one to collaborate with. So they end up with the equation that pulls them further and further away. Yeah, it's not easy being a 2-5 and being in your own process.